Hi, I'm Jarrod.
Hi, I'm Parker.
Welcome back to Escape Addictions, Break the Chains. Today we're going to talk about the shift. And what I call the shift is when we have that shift or change in mentality from our old mindset and our old way of thinking and back into this new way of thinking and this new mindset. For the shift to occur, a lot of things have to happen. We have to go through a lot of different bottoms. We have to wade through a lot of different mud and muck to get to the point of having a shift and say, whoa, I don't want to live my life like this anymore. A lot of people present that feeling of being stuck, of being trapped, and what they're talking about is being stuck or trapped in their own mind. So they feel stuck or trapped in their situation or in their life. And so to get unstuck, we have to have that shift occur. It has to be strong, and we have to go with it. We have to start feeding these new thoughts and this new way of thinking. So, Parker, I want to talk to you about the shift and how it occurred in you. Kind of, where did it start? What led up to what are the events that kind of led up to you having that shift? And how did your thoughts change from one way to the next?
Well, before my shift started, I was homeless, staying in the woods, staying in tents, staying in hotel rooms, wherever I could really. And I was pretty bad off at the time. I was an IV user for about every day, a couple times a day. I was going down a bad path, and everybody kept handing me escape addiction cards. I got about 9 or 10 of them within 1 week. And then on my way out of the door to jail, the warden handed me one. And he was like, I think you should check this out. And honestly, at that time, during an active addiction, I was like, well, I gotta go and see what this is about, because there's a reason why I keep getting the cards. So I walked from the jail all the way up to the office, and I did good for a couple months. I did good a few months, and I ended up falling back off. And whenever the shift really started happening, I had moved up north with a brother of mine, and he really kicked the motivation into me. Because I look up to him a lot, I respect him a lot, and whenever he told me that he was getting clean and everything, he kind of made me realize what all I was missing, what all I needed to do. He made me stand up, be a man, and I went and sat in the kitchen of my house, and I looked at pictures of my son and everything, and I was like, well, what am I doing here? And right then and there, I just felt something come over me, and it was kind of like I don't want this no more. I want to go home, I want to get things right, because no matter what goes on in my relationship with my family, my son, no matter what it is, I still have to be that example and that role model and that positive image to my surrounding friends, family, loved ones, even old friends who I no longer speak to. I feel like the shift made me want to be that example for them, and I came back home and started getting clean, and it changed me. It changed me.
Were you embracing? Did you have this thought that there was a new life waiting for you? That if you stopped using drugs, that you could maybe make something out of your life?
At first, no. Honestly, my thought was it's not going to work out. I'm going to end up going back. But after about a week of being clean, I kind of realized, well, this feeling's way better. This life seems way better than the life I was living. I realized that I can't do this. It was just the drugs making me feel like I needed it, making me feel like I needed to be in that life to be happy. I needed that drug to feel happy, but it's all a lie.
Yeah, interesting that you pointed out the lies, because I believe that the shift does have to do with our eyes opening up to the truth, and all the lies that our lifestyle we were leading wasn't as cool, wasn't as awesome as we made it out to be in our mind. And we start to embrace the truth, and that is that it's old, it's tiresome. These same conversations, they get old, they get annoying and irritating once we start seeing the lies and the truth and everything. That's important for me. In the shift that occurred in me happened. It started, I think, it was about a 2-year process for me. I think it started when I was about 22 years old, and I moved out to California. I went to treatment out there, and then I signed up for 6 months. After a 30-day inpatient, I signed up for 6 months of sober living in a place called Sober Living by the Sea. And I got a lot of valuable tools there and learned a lot about myself and I got 10 months of recovery and then relapse, and I felt hard. And every time after that, I felt like I was slapping God in the face every time I went back out. And so I kept having to do more drugs and numb myself even more. And I went on this meth binge for the next 2 years, and I was bouncing around. I would disappear for 6 months, 8 months at a time, and I was cooking dope all over the place and manufacturing it and living this whole lifestyle in the super fast lane. The shift occurred when I finally got locked up. I got arrested for manufacturing methamphetamine, generation of hazardous waste, and I was sitting in jail with all the other meth cooks, and everybody was talking about doing the same dumb stuff. It was the same redundant, repetitive conversations over and over and over. And I finally realized I didn't want to be a part of that anymore. I didn't even want to be a part of those conversations, much less that life. And I finally started digging a little deeper and thinking, what do I got to do here? What do I need? And God started giving me the answers. I started doing Bible study with this group of gentlemen. I started working out with this other man, and I started writing, which I didn't know are the courses that I teach today. And those three things I still do today. But that shift was so strong in me. And what it was really, it was the same people and the same tweaker conversations that led to nowhere. And all these people talking about doing the same criminal stuff when they got out. And I said, you know what? I don't want to come back in here again. And this is going to be it for me. And I put my foot down and I turned away from those people. And after I got out, I deleted my phone. I got a new phone number. I deleted all those contacts out of my life, and I was done with it. To solidify it, I had to keep doing those things. Like I had to keep doing the Bible study. I had to keep working out, which was very beneficial. We'll talk about that in a later episode. And then I had to keep writing, and getting those thoughts out. It helped me to kind of cement my shift and my newfound relationship with God. And it was just the beginning of a long journey, but now I know, man, it was a very necessary point in my recovery that I don't think I'd be where I am today if I hadn't first had that shift.
In order for somebody else to feel the shift, the change, you have to know that it's possible. And I just felt like a lot of people out there feel trapped inside of their environments. And I just wanted everybody to know that you can get out and it is possible. You just have to put your mind to it.
Yes. So you're saying the first step to the shift is first to believe, the belief, having faith, having hope. And we've said this before, we don't believe in hopeless cases. If so, neither of us would be here today. And now we're both full of hope and full of life and full of love, and we have all these things that we can start giving other people. And we only have that through our gift in recovery and our new life in God. And that foundation in God is everything. Another thing that I want to mention is that some things that help the shift, that helped the shift stay solidified or stay concrete was, for me, it was seeing those people, those lost souls out in public, places like Walmart or at the gas station. You see these people that are, and I'm not knocking them, I pray for them, but they very much motivate me. Those people that are in their 60s and 70s, or maybe they're in their 40s and 50s, but they look like they're in their 60s and 70s or 80s, and life has just beat them down. And they're still searching for answers in all the wrong places, and you can see the pain and the suffering in their faces, and you can see how life has smacked them around, and they're still addicted to these substances, and you can see it clearly. And for me, I didn't want any part of that. I wanted to start living life in a different way, so that in hopes that when I get up into those ages that I might have some things figured out and I might be living a different life by then and have some wisdom, patience, humility, strength. These are the things that I crave, and what I found out was the only place I get these things are from God. The fruits of the Spirit, and God's waiting to bless us down with all these promises if we just devote our lives to Him and practice surrendering. For me, I have to surrender my day and my will over to God every morning. And that helps me to stay in that shift, to stay with that shifted mindset in this new life in recovery. A life that's way more awesome than I could ever even imagine today.
Seeing my homeboys in the same position that they were whenever I was in the peak of my addiction, still being in the same peak of theirs 3-4 years ago. That right there kind of shows me how far I've came and how much I've progressed, and it motivates me to keep going because it shows me that I have made it somewhere. I didn't stay in the same place. I didn't go backwards. I've actually made it somewhere else, and that's real motivation for me.
And it could be motivation for them too. Man, that's a blessing. So what we'll do is we're going to pray now that shift occurs, and everybody out there that's still struggling and wading through that mud and that muck in their life, we'll pray for you in hopes that shift occurs in you, that you can see that there's whole nother life waiting out there for you, and that this life you're currently leading and in, it's only going to lead you towards death, or worse. What's worse than death? Having to live into our 60s, 70s, and still not have a clue of what life is about. To me, that's worse than dying from our addiction. Well, we thank you for joining us today, and for another episode of Break the Chains. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and we hope to see you again soon.
Wow.